a few moments, meditate on the Supreme Lord and pray for peace and happiness of the whole humanity. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. The spiritual master has given spiritual instructions to all the seekers in spiritual life. So Sri Ramakrishna is easily accessible to all the spiritual seekers through his teachings. And if you follow these teachings, you understand how spiritual life has to be pursued with vigor, and how we should pay attention to go inward. So spiritual life is really an inward journey. We are all moving from morning to night. Keep on moving, moving and moving. But we are moving externally. Senses are moving outward. We are carrying all our activities outwardly. Everything external. Spiritual life is totally internal. So Sri Ramakrishna has made this point very clear and understandable through metaphors. If you study the Gospel, every page has many metaphors through which Sri Ramakrishna is instructing the spiritual seekers how they should conduct themselves inwardly. So, from that point of view, this whole world and all its people form the basis of our inward journey. Sri Ramakrishna knew the mental state of all the people in the world. So he did not make people understand that spiritual life was difficult. He never told people to reject externals. Sri Ramakrishna was very sensible and sensitive to the natural human tendencies, and so Sri Ramakrishna was very realistic in his injunctions. Sometimes he would suggest the disciples to enjoy the world if they still felt a hankering for it before they thought of interior matters. So Sri Ramakrishna is showing us the way. It's only through experience in the external world you understand how to start your inward journey. So we can, in effect, take the gospel as a continuous core of contemplative centrality by keeping in mind some of the metaphors which Sri Ramakrishna repeatedly uses in the text. We can keep the interior dimension of our aspirations constantly in mind. For instance, one of the hazards of living in a city today are the inevitable power shortage, which are frequently subjected to for various reasons. During such times, the lighting of a candle is a habitual action. The flickering flame of the candle reminds us of the words of Sri Ramakrishna about the nature of the human mind. Restless like the candle in the wind of worldliness, we can bring the flame of the mind to steadiness by protecting it from the breeze. In this way, our external world should serve as a constant reminder of the inner one. The nature of the mind has many metaphoric descriptions because in the inward movement, the mind is our most important guide. Sri Ramakrishna compares the mind to a white cloth which can be effortlessly dyed in any color to indicate the possibility of choosing a positive or negative direction in life. Transformation is possible to a mind which is white and free of preconditions. Once the mind is colored in worldliness, it's impossible to bleach the cloth back to its original white hue. Another metaphor for the mind is a brass pot which requires regular polish to keep it shining. An aspirant cannot practice spiritual discipline intermittently, but has to be vigilant constantly lest the mind become dull like an unpolished brass pot. The possibility of the mind succumbing to inessentials and distractions in the course of existence is compared by Sri Ramakrishna to a nail covered with mud which does not feel the pull of the magnet. Once the mud, external attractions, is scraped off, the nail mind instantly rushes to the magnet, God. Given these illustrations of the nature of the human mind, the next step in the aspirant's inward journey would be to learn that mental states are conducive to interiorization. Here, Sri Ramakrishna uses the metaphor of a maidservant. The maidservant works in the house of her master with commitment and treats master's children with great affection. But in the heart of hearts, she is well aware that none of this is her own, and her real home is far away in the village. The attitude of the maidservant is the attitude of non-attachment and disinterested work, commitment without involvement, which is one of the disciplines that the mind has to practice. Another metaphor for keeping the urgency of interior life constantly in our thoughts is that of a person who has some member of the family seriously ill at home. He comes to the place of his work and does his duty, but his mind is lost in thoughts of the person at home. Sri Ramakrishna gave the message of yearning through this metaphor. Yearning should be so intense and desperate that it is like the struggle of a man whose head is thrust under water. When disciples complained to Sri Ramakrishna that they were unable to make progress in spiritual life, Sri Ramakrishna once spoke of this as the metaphor. The Guru pushed the head of the disciple under water without any prior warning. The poor disciple applied all his strength to escape that vice-like grasp and get a breath of air. That is how genuine commitment to interiorization should feel. An instinctive and unified effort towards the goal. Thus, for any advancement in life, a one-pointed concentration is essential. We know the truth of this in our secular existence too. Sri Ramakrishna's metaphor for total concentration, which never wavers, though apparently we are engaged in various activities, is that of women with many pitchers of water who walk along gossiping with friends but don't allow a drop to spill, or a woman who helps in husking paddy while dealing with customers, suckling her child and frying grains. In both cases, the women keep their entire concentration on one side while the other activities are incidental. So also is our worldly duty to us. We should do it, but not get so engrossed that we forget the purpose for which the human birth has been gifted to us. Once Sri Ramakrishna saw an English lady at the circus performing marvelous acrobatic feats. This became for him the metaphor for startling achievement through constant endeavor. The woman had learned to balance herself so high in the air because she had put her whole mind to it. The human mind is an exceptional instrument. An aspirant can achieve wonders in inwardness by similar committed and continuous endeavor. To Sri Ramakrishna, the experiences of life were all suggestive of inwardness. One day he was asked to pose for a photograph in front of a camera, and from it he drew a valuable lesson. He said that just as a plain glass will not retain the impression which a glass coated with silver nitrate does, similar is the human mind. Only when it is coated with the chemical of faith, love and devotion does it retain the impression of spirituality. To prepare the mind to become receptive to interior matters, Sri Ramakrishna used the metaphor of a child. The child is beyond the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. It can be made to give away a costly garment or toy in exchange for a small piece of sweet. One can make the child do anything by saying that one is going to take it to its mother. Such simplicity and innocence are essential criteria for an aspirant. Once Sri Ramakrishna saw the numerous chains that were holding a bridge in place and said that these were like the shackles of Maya in the life of a person. Even if one chain breaks, the rest of them hold him. A prisoner in the world. One has to strive to break all the chains that bind us, which is not such an easy job. Such are the hindrances on the path within. It is like the silkworm which weaves its cocoon and chooses to die in it, or like the fish that are caught and bury their heads in the mud, unaware that the net will soon be pulled to the shore and spell their death. The first requirement is that we want to escape from the transitory nature of the impermanent world and find something more lasting. Temptations abound in any serious quest. Sri Ramakrishna's metaphor for this is a typhoid patient who has in his room a pitcher of water and a bottle of pickles. Both are irresistible to the person who is ill, but even if he takes a little of either of the two, his health deteriorates. Our external engagements are similarly attractive, and to resist them requires immense effort. But keeping away from such activities is the only way to full recovery from the fever of worldliness. An average individual life exposes to a great variety of experiences from which we have to discriminate the useful ones from others. Sri Ramakrishna again gave a metaphor to explicate this by quoting the example of water. Some water can be used only for washing vessels and clothes, some for drinking, and some for worship. From discrimination comes singularity of purpose in order to give our counting the trees or the leaves. The best thing is to eat the maximum fruits that we can. Or if you want to get drunk, how does it serve our purpose to know the quantity of wine there is in the tavern? For our purpose is just a tumbler or two enough. On the interior path, there is constant need to alter the nature of the mind. One of the first characteristics to be cultivated is humility. Here, Sri Ramakrishna gives a very picturesque metaphor of rainwater collecting in a hollow place but overflowing from a mound. If our ego is like a mound, spiritual instruction will flow out like the rainwater. To store it, we have to be low like the place in which rainwater accumulates. Like the thread which can't be put into the eye of the needle, even if one fiber is sticking out, is our plight. Unless we have a unitive consciousness, it's impossible to achieve anything on this inward journey. To speak about a total one-pointed devotion to the cause, which interiorization demands, Sri Ramakrishna uses the metaphor of the miser's attachment to his wealth. We are reminded of characters in literature, such as Shylock and others, who have become memorable through their miserliness in order to get the actual importance of this metaphor. It appears that if the water of the lake is infested with ferocious crocodiles, a swimmer can protect himself from them by rubbing turmeric on his body. This is a metaphor in the gospel for the terrible existence in this world, where we need the protection of an inner dimension to swim across safely. When we are searching for gems, it is useless to swim in shallow waters. We shall have to dive deep into the ocean to find the real priceless gems. Sri Ramakrishna suggests that we should also dive deep into our beings to find the incomparable treasure hidden there. Living on the surface does not reveal these precious depths to us. Apart from spirituality, the other ideal of the Ramakrishna mission is service. You know, the whole Ramakrishna mission is fully geared up in doing service to the humanity. That was the important message given by Sri Ramakrishna to the world through Swami Vivekananda. So in this modern age, if you are really aspiring to realize the truth, serve the humanity. By serving the humanity, mind gets purified. In a purified mind, you will be able to realize the truth. Sri Ramakrishna's metaphor for this is a huge block of wood which can float even if heavy weights are put on it. A straw or small piece of wood will sink even if a sparrow sits on it, while the huge block will take dozens of men and animals to the safety of the shore. We should aspire to be like the huge block and help those who are drowning in the sea of material existence to reach the shore by our own interior existence. But not all can be good as teachers, just like doctors. Sri Ramakrishna categorizes teachers of spirituality into three groups. The inferior group is that which just gives instructions, medicine, and forgets all about it. The medium group is that which gives instructions and repeatedly tells the aspirant or patient to take it. But the best teacher or the doctor is one who uses force to make the aspirant swallow the instruction, because he knows that the cure will be beneficial and worth the trouble. To strengthen the desire for interior experience, one has to constantly keep Sri Ramakrishna's metaphor, for this is the meeting of one hemp smoker with another. Both embrace each other and immediately make preparations to indulge in their common addiction. Similar is the state of people who have interest in inner dimensions. Of course, once we have made progress in the spiritual life, the desire for communication reduces. It is metaphorically represented by the noise at a feast. As soon as people arrive there, there's a great confusion and talk on numerous subjects. People keep on talking and gossiping. When the food arrives, there is only one sound, and that is the request for certain dishes to be served. Once the last course arrives, there is only the sound of eating, and finally, when all have had their fill and gone off to sleep, there is total silence. It is like the silent communication of a pitcher which is full of water. Sri Ramakrishna said that as long as the pitcher of our being is empty, it makes greater noise. It makes tremendous noise. Once it is filled with spiritual instruction, it is absolutely lost in contemplation. All this is brought about by faith. Here too, Sri Ramakrishna has a powerful metaphor. If a child holds his father's hand and walks on the narrow paths between paddy fields, there is a possibility that he will slip and fall into the water. But when the father holds the child's hand, there is no such danger. The aspirant has to be convinced that his or her father is holding his or her hand so that he or she can march ahead without slipping. Such metaphors are plenty in the gospel, and one can go on listing them. Each metaphor can also be thought about deeply and interpreted variously. From all of them, some vital lessons can also be drawn. In this way, there is tremendous scope for reading and responding to this multifaceted text, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So, please read it with full attention and meditate upon the ideas which Sri Ramakrishna has said in the Gospel, and try to follow spiritual path sincerely. Then surely in this very life you will have the glimpse of pure peace and joy. Of course, realization of truth is possible only when the mind is totally free from all impurities. Well, spiritual practice is meant for that. We do spiritual practices such as worship, meditation, singing bhajans, doing service in the chapel. All these activities have definite purpose of purifying the heart. As and when the heart gets purified, you feel tremendous inner peace and happiness, and your devotion to God also increases thousandfold. That is why Shada Devi used to say, if you want to really have the experience of real spiritual joy, you must repeat the divine name at least 10 to 15,000 times a day. Let us try to do like that. Girish said to Yam, do you remember what Pope says about it? It's with our judgments as our watches. None go just alike, yet each believes his own. Master said to M, "What does it mean?" M said, "Everyone thinks that his own watch keeps the correct time, but different watches do not give the same time." Master said, But however wrong the watches may be, the sun never makes a mistake. One should check one's watch with the sun." A devotee, he said, "Mr. X tells lies." Master said, "Truthfulness in speech is the tapasya of this Kali Yuga. It is difficult to practice other austerities in this cycle. By adhering to truth, one attains God." Tulsidas said, truthfulness, obedience to God, and the regarding of others' wives as one's mother are the greatest virtues. If one does not realize God by practicing them, then Tulsi is a liar. Keshav Chandra Sen assumed his father's debts. Others would have repudiated them. I visited Devendra's Samaj at Jorshanko and found Keshav meditating on the dais. He was then a young man. I said to Mathur Babu, "Of all who are meditating here, this young man's float alone has sunk under water. The fish is biting at the hook." There was a man, whom I shall not name, who for 10,000 rupees told a lie in court. In order to win the lawsuit, he made me give an offering to the Divine Mother. He said to me, "Father, please give this offering to the mother." Trusting him like a child, I gave the offering. Devotee said, "A nice man indeed." Master said, "But he had such faith in me that he believed the mother would grant his prayer if I but made the offering." Referring to Lalit Babu, Sri Ramakrishna said, "Is it an easy matter to get rid of pride? There are very few who are without pride. Balram is one of them," pointing to a devotee, "and here is another. Other people in their position would have swelled with pride. They would have parted their hair and showed other traits of tamas. They would have been proud of their learning. The fat Brahmin," referring to Pranakrishna, "still has a little of it." To Yam, Sri Ramakrishna said, "Mahima Chakravarti has read many books, hasn't he?" Yam answered, "Yes, sir, he has read a great deal." Master said smilingly, "I wish he and Girish could meet. Then we could enjoy a little discussion." Girish smilingly said, "Doesn't he say that by means of sadhana all people can be like Krishna?" Master, "Not exactly that, but something like it." Devotee answered, "Sir, can all be like Sri Krishna?" Master said, "An incarnation of God, or one born with some of the characteristics of an incarnation, is called an Ishvara Koti. An ordinary man is called a Jiva or Jiva Koti. By dint of sadhana, a Jiva Koti can realize God, but after Samadhi, he cannot come back to the plane of relative consciousness. The Ishvara Koti is like the king's son. He has the keys to all the rooms of this 7-story palace. He can climb to all the 7 floors and come down at will. A Jivakoti is like a petty officer. He can enter some of the rooms of the palace. That is his limit. Janaka was a Jnani. He attained knowledge by means of his sadhana. But Shukadev was knowledge itself. We shall stop here. Any question? Any discussion you want? You are welcome. So there are so many metaphors in this gospel, full of metaphors. 1,000 pages, 1,000 metaphors are there. Beautiful. Well, no, that's all. Ishvara Koti is one who knows who knows the truth, though he is presenting himself as an embodied being, whereas Jiva Koti doesn't know, and he has to struggle hard, and he has got his limitations. But once he realizes it, Sri Ramakrishna tells, he is just absorbed in that realization. He doesn't come back. As he gives the example, the king's son can go all the 7 stories. He can go to all the rooms, go up and down. But ordinary Jiva Koti is like a petty officer. He can't go to all the rooms. He can go to some rooms, like that. Anyway, by sadhana, one can reach any state. But once you do spiritual practices and attain to that high state of spirituality, you won't feel anything else afterwards. You won't feel like coming, going, etc. What is this? Everything looks very funny. And you are not interested in any of these things anymore. You are just totally satisfied in the divine. I want nothing. That's the state you arrive at. I want nothing. I want you. I have got it. Finished. What else I want? When Dhruvanarayan, a famous devotee, he was a child, he was a balak. He was very fortunate. He got the initiation by great Narada Maharshi. And before Dhruva got this initiation, he came out of the home because he was ill-treated by his stepmother, and she used some abusive language towards him, and this boy was crying and told everything to his mother. Then the mother said, "Why do you cry? You talk to Sriman Narayan, you pray to him. You will get what you are seeking for." He literally believed that and immediately left the home and went in search of Narayan. He's a boy, simple faith he had. And fortunately, Narada Maharshi was there, and he was amazed at the purity of this boy, and he himself came. And, well, you are searching for Narayan, I will show you the way, come on. Do like this, repeat this Nam, divine name of Narayan. Then he initiated him, and the boy did that. Finally he got the vision of Sriman Narayan. And Narayan was telling him, "Well, I think you are very happy seeing me." "Yes, Lord, I am looking at you, and really I am very happy. But you are looking only inside. Open your eyes and see outside also. I am standing before you." Then he opened his eyes, and he was amazed to see the divine form of Sriman Narayan, which he was seeing in his heart. The same divine form he is seeing outside also, inside and outside, everywhere. He had the vision of Narayan. And then Narayan himself asked him, well, you took so much trouble to meditate and to keep on calling me. What do you want? Tell me, I will grant you. You are asking me what do I want? By seeing you, I don't need anything. I got total fulfillment. To say that the boy must be very pure. Otherwise, people say, I want this power, I want this. There's so many stories, so many asuras are there. I want the whole world. I want to be the king of the whole world. I should not be defeated by anybody, etc., etc. There are all sorts of boons they ask for. But here, this boy didn't say anything. He said, well, by seeing you, I am totally satisfied. I don't need anything. No, you came with a purpose. And then Narayana himself offered him, well, you become the ruler of the kingdom. Don't worry, I will be always with you. Just you remember me. I will guide you in all the matters. So like that, the boy was given the vision. So it all depends upon the attitude. But the point is, ordinarily, we just were totally happy in being at the feet of Lord. That's all. We don't want anything else. That's also a very highly qualified state. See, if you desire anything, that means what? That means mind slips down. For some reason, you allow your mind to slip down. Once the mind is allowed to slip down, you don't know how it slips. With what velocity it slips, you don't know that. Sri Shankaracharya gives an example. It is like a ball dropping from the third floor. Once it just starts jumping on the steps, you can't catch it anymore. Before you try to catch, it's already reached the ground floor. With terrific fast, with terrific speed, velocity, it goes. Mind is like that. For some reason, if you allow a little bit to drift, then you will see how havoc it makes. By the time you realize, you are already totally gone. So, one has to be very careful in handling the mind. Anyway, we have to learn through experience, that's all. There is no way. Experience is the only way of learning. Any more question? We shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bought for very souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No time is set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. When my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void, prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou, who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous reign tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.